One of the greatest claims of nuclear power is a viable source of clean energy for the entire world, an energy that is renewable and cheaper than the growing trend of green energy. Unfortunately, the potential consequences that go along with the use of such fuels as nuclear and fossil is so dire that our planet may already be past saving from these man-made catastrophes. We've known about the risks of nuclear power since the 1980s, when a manufacturing error in a plant in Europe caused one of them to melt down, covering much of the country in nuclear fallout. It was because of this incident, known as Chernobyl, that they actually created a scale to measure future disasters and their severity. The scale goes from 1 to 7, 7 being the worst, and is based off the amount of material released into the atmosphere. Curious to see what the effects of this incident had on the plant and animal life in this area, in 2013 a group of scientists went in there to study what remained. Though they did find many plant and fungal colonies as well as some mammals, they also discovered that many of those suffered from stunted growth as well as birth defects and a lot of tumors. In addition, migratory birds that traveled through the affected area suffered from various disorders in their digestive tract that significantly shortened their lives, even with the minimal exposure that they experienced. In 2011, another nuclear disaster following an earthquake in Japan resulted in another level 7 catastrophe. The difference, however, from Chernobyl and Fukushima is that Chernobyl was a relatively isolated incident. It did cover much of Europe, but it did not go much farther than that. Fukushima, on the other hand, was not only based on the waterfront of the ocean, it was in the ocean, and many of its cores were cooled by seawater. As a result, when the cores melted down, all of the nuclear fallout that came out of those cores spread much further and farther than Chernobyl ever could. An example of this is a picture in 1986 that was taken from a satellite of Chernobyl. And as you can see, this part right here is the hot zone, and this is much of Europe. It does cover much of Europe, but it doesn't go much further than that. In 2011, this is Fukushima. Though Fukushima did release a bit less material, as you can see, because of the tides and the currents of the ocean, it spread all the way through across China, Russia, Alaska, Canada, North America, Mexico, and South America, and probably further than that. But because of the curvature of the Earth, you can only take a picture of so much. One of the greatest arguments in reference to green energy is the cost. In the United States, however, each year, each nuclear power plant gets a grant of $150 million. Just an example of green energy, a windmill, like the ones you see on your way to Twin Falls, costs about $3 to $4 million. It may seem like a lot of money, but when you consider the fact that they are designed to have minimal maintenance as well as human interaction and go for 20 to 30 years by themselves, the costs are significantly outweighed by the benefits. The benefits are significantly outweighed by the costs. If we were to take Each annual grant that the United States government gave to each nuclear program and put it towards building windmills, in roughly 3 years, there would be enough just windmills in this country to make every single power plant obsolete. We as a people have the potential to change this disaster that is the planet. The question is, are we going to make that change? Thank you for your time.